Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Pleasure to be with you as we broadcast on as we tape today, just a beautiful day in downtown Lancaster. We're here at the course at Fairfield Federal in their lobby. We appreciate all the folks here giving us an opportunity to come in here each and every week to broadcast a show. We're going to begin today by one of our favorite guests. She's a little upbeat. Maybe you have noticed that if you didn't know Amanda Everett. She is a little upbeat. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Bob.
Miss Destination Downtown Lancaster. My golly, what a run you folks are on.
I tell you what, I forgot my sash and tiara. I like that. Miss Destination Downtown.
Well, I tell you, for the last, I don't know if it's been 10 years, but certainly the resurgence downtown is just remarkable.
It truly is. It's fantastic. And we're seeing that all across the country as people sort of reject that suburban sprawl. And the more we get into our digital devices, I think that there is a craving to go back to that human connection, knowing the people that are butchering your meats, where you're buying your vegetables, where you're going to grab a pint after work. Those community connections. And so downtowns across the country are thriving, and we are certainly no exception.
And I guess everything kind of runs full cycle. I'm old enough to remember when Plaza Shopping Center, which was the first one here, maybe 58, 59 there, kind of came out. That was the buzz. Everybody, you don't have to go downtown. We've got an outdoor. And now it just, again, full cycle.
Right. It always comes back when we look at communities in Europe and whatnot and other countries where they didn't kind of give into car culture and it was about walkability and neighborhoods and density. It's wonderful to see that resurgence here in the United States. Because I think it's better for us. It's better for us. It's better for our neighborhoods. It's better for our school systems. And it's better for us as a community to be able to have more opportunities to connect with one another and take back our local economy and say, you know what, I know who is selling me this glassware, and I know where this steak came from because it's the farm just up the road, and I know that my restaurant shops locally and they get their produce from this farm over here. It feels good. It's good from an economic development perspective, and it just makes your heart and soul feel good too.
Amanda Everett, Destination Downtown, got tons of stuff always when we get you on. It's always a jam-packed show with you on. Now, you just had a recent real successful gathering of Destination Downtown. That was a good thing.
Oh, it was fantastic. The event was sold out. The room was jam-packed with people that just love and celebrate this community and celebrate the downtown. Specifically, we were able to give multiple business awards to businesses, strategic partners, volunteers, and really celebrate the things that we were able to accomplish in 2023, and then give a sneak peek at the look ahead for 2024.
Anything you can tell us about what might be ahead for 2024?
I tell you what, this is big news. This is very, very big news.
Okay.
Ale House is going to be opening for lunch again.
That is big news. That is.
People have been asking and dying for it, so that's really, really exciting. Obviously, we continue to work on what was formerly known as the Essex Building, the Shoemaker now, and as a nod to the historic shoe factory culture that was down on that end of town. That is going to be on North Columbus Street. We just found out the day after we held the annual gathering that Urban Restorations, who is the development organization that is executing that transformational project, won the state tax credits, transformational mixed-use development. It's the first time the TMUD has been awarded to Fairfield County or Lancaster. So this is really, really big. That's an additional $2 million to help with that restoration of that incredibly important structure that will house commercial on the bottom and 60 much-needed market-rate apartments on floors 2 and 3.
I've been watching them work as they go by. It's nice weather, so they're doing some outside, kind of redoing the bricks outside. It looks like that thing's really coming along.
They are working at a breakneck speed.
Yes.
They have not stopped since they took ownership of the building, regardless of those tax credits. They knew that they wanted to be a part of Lancaster and a part of the resurgence, and so they've invested heavily and have been working nonstop.
Do you get an out date or a date that's expectation?
Yeah, absolutely. They're really clear with their timelines, and they are hoping for summer of 2025.
Wow.
It's aggressive. It's aggressive for sure, but extremely exciting, and I think they can do it.
Wow, that's very aggressive. Then get that done, because we've got the water department supposed to be coming online somewhere in 2025. Maybe the schools in 25 or 26. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Sort of in there, and now with this, just a lot going on, huh?
Yeah. Lancaster is the place to be.
Amanda Everett with us from DDL. Well, we talked about that, and I know we've got something new, sort of new, coming up. Different time of the year, Winter Brewfest. That sounds like something
Winter Brewfest.
we want to be involved in.
Yes, absolutely. So we partner with Aaron Ohl and the Lancaster Brewfest, obviously for the Summer Brewfest every year.
That's a big deal.
It's a great
big
fundraiser, and we're so grateful for that partnership, because it does allow us to raise a lot of funds so that we can do the things that we do at Destination Downtown Lancaster, because we are a nonprofit. But we decided, listen, people are kind of bored in the winter. It's Ohio, so you never know what the weather's going to be like. We have, the option of tents and heaters, things of that nature. So we decided we would love to activate the space of the square and hold a Winter Brewfest. People have been asking for it, so we decided to deliver. So that's on Saturday, coming right up, Saturday, February 24th. And we're hoping that weather's going to be perfect. We will have heated tents, but there are going to be multiple breweries from all around the state of Ohio, as well as distilleries and cideries. So even if you're not a beer drinker, there's something for everyone.
Sure. Winter Brewfest now be coming up, as you watch this show, because it's coming up in a few days right here. And again, this will be is this the first one?
This will be the first outdoor Winter Brewfest. Aaron used to execute a Winter Brewfest many, many years ago and stopped doing it. And he's just decided he's in love with the square. He loves doing it in that space, and the amount of people that it brings in to take in the beautiful architecture and the history while sipping on a pint. It's pretty fantastic.
As I think about downtown in the last, decade maybe, the changes, the resurgence has been, it's not anchor hawking 12 o'clock noon when the office let out over here kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But you come downtown now almost any time of the, when it's light out, or certainly even when it's dark in the evenings, downtown is happening. It's amazing.
It is. It's wonderful. I live downtown as well.
Yes.
So I take my dogs for a walk every night, and there are always people who are out walking their dogs, taking an evening stroll, kids running around on their skateboards. It just feels good. It's an active space. And I think that comes from people feeling safe, people thinking that it's a beautiful place to be in. So that's why those little placemaking projects are incredibly important. So things like planters, alley lighting, right? The string lights. People want to be in spaces that look like they're cared for, and when people are engaging in community in spaces that look cared for, they also care for it. So if you've ever been in a city where you drop a tissue out of your pocket and it is maybe a shady area of town and it looks dirty and there are broken windows, you're not going to run into the street to pick up that tissue, because you think, it's fine, it's just one more thing and nobody really cares about this place. When you have a place that obviously looks like, hey, people are passionate, there's no apathy here, you're going to chase down that tissue and pick it up. And I think that's my favorite way to describe the way we feel about Lancaster. We want to show people that this place matters and that we care about this place. And so all of the little touches and details that we can do leads to that vibrancy and activity all times of the night and day.
And are there any vacancies downtown anymore? Is any of that?
We have a very low vacancy rate and a waiting list for available retail space as well. A lot of times when we do have vacancies, there's some other issues, but no, we've got a waiting list for people who want to be in the downtown, and we're really working on expanding what that downtown looks like. And the spaces that we move into. Obviously, the Shoemaker, formerly known as the Essex, is a huge win for us because it helps us open up that corridor to the north. Wholly walkable, very easy walk. But again, when you're walking by a place with broken windows and trash, it doesn't feel good. And so that's going to be a game changer for the north side. And then obviously on the south side, we have the wonderful project, the hutch, as I like to call it. You know, Brad always calls it the Timmins building, but it'll always be the hutch to me. That fantastic rehabilitation and revitalization on South Broad Street. He actually won the Special Improvement District Investment of the Year Award for that. It's now housing WITS, which if you haven't been to WITS, you have. Yes. I love the guilty.
Well, it is a guilty pleasure, but what a wonderful place. I mean, they're doing so well.
They're doing so well. We just got word that for December and January, they were the top performing WITS in the country.
Wow.
Little Lancaster.
Wow. Nice.
I think it's you and I that made that happen, but we
well, we did our share.
We did our share.
And I've noticed that, and it's kind of fun to watch. You know, destination downtown, you think, well, you can look at Main Street and wow, it's happening. But now we're starting, Essex is a few blocks that way, Wits is a couple blocks that way. You can sort of see the downtown really becoming a downtown.
Absolutely. It's more than just Main Street. We often think in small town terms because I think our community is so connected. And so on the positive side, it makes us feel much smaller than we actually are, but we're a small city, and we have actually an abnormally small footprint for our downtown than other cities with similar populations. And so we really need to be protective of our historic architecture, the stock of that, and look at creative ways to adapt and reuse buildings that are just off of Main Street as well.
Got about a minute left, but I want to hit this glass up with the Gay Fed. Lancaster got a big award. I talked to Visit Fairfield County about this a little bit. Destination Downtown. This is a big deal.
Named Best Hometown by Ohio Magazine.
Lancaster.
Lancaster. If you haven't already got your commemorative copy, they are available in our office, 128 North Broad Street. But we thought, we can't let this award go by without commemorating this in other ways. And so we thought we would call up the fellows at GayFad Studios and have them help us design a glass. And so we do. We have this wonderful Best Hometown glass with an artistic depiction of some of our favorite buildings within our historic downtown, as well as our fountain. And those are also available for purchase at our office.
Well, you're in a new location over there. It's a great place. Yeah. Stop over and see us. Did you have any problem getting here from your work today?
I tell you what, the commute was rough. It's
about 100 feet that way. Amanda Everett with Destination Downtown, congratulations on the wonderful job you folks are doing, and you and your staff. They do great work in the downtown. Just hardly ever has looked better. It looks great.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Paul.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back and talk more history in just a moment.
I moved here after a decade in New York City, just craving nature, the outdoors, my Midwestern, childhood, everything about this place, and I was so happy to find how this county has grown and expanded, and they're being addressed. There's so many agencies, they work so well together, and it's just amazing.
All of the different companies and nonprofit organizations seem to be in tune with each other, whereas in other counties I know it's a lot of the businesses are just one-on-one, but in Fairfield County I feel like all of them kind of piggyback off of each other, and they really help each other out to get everyone the most help that they need.
You can really make an impact in the community and notice it, and especially in Fairfield County there's a lot of really exciting things happening. So a lot of forward-thinking, innovative ideas and programs is a big bonus to working in Fairfield County.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference. Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
We here at Fairfield DD wish you a happy new year. March is right around the corner, and with it comes Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. This year, Fairfield DD is excited to share that we will have a variety of events to mark this important month. Our 14th annual Celebration of Possibilities will be held on Wednesday, March 20th at 6 p.m. at the Wigwam Event Center in Pickerington. So save the date. Join our mailing list or follow our social media so you can stay up to date on all the happenings.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Day. I want to thank Amanda Everett for stopping in with always an update, and always fun to talk about the downtown, the resurgence, things going on here. It's always so great. If the name Scipio Smith isn't familiar to you, we'd like to change that right now because you're going to be hearing more and more about it. For the last year, you've been hearing a little bit about it, we hope. We hope you'll hear even more about it. We've got the guy to talk about that, Michael Johnson with the Heritage Association, marketing director. And I don't know if we could call this your baby, but every time I see the 2 names linked together, Scipio Smith and Michael Johnson, this is something that's very big with you.
Yeah, this means a lot to me, and I would love to see this completed in this project.
Sounds like it's going to come about.
It looks, it's going well.
Now, if we know a little bit about Scipio Smith with the Allen Chapel just up the hill here a little bit, he was a reformed slave, previous slave, came here post-slavery in Lancaster.
Yeah, it gets kind of complicated, but yeah, so he was born a slave in Virginia.
Yes.
And at 14 years old, his owner brought him to Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
So he was emancipated, so he wasn't fully freed. He had a term of contract that he had to finish out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you could get slaves into Ohio, because you couldn't bring slaves into Ohio. Ohio was a free state. But if you brought them in as emancipated, you could say, well, they're emancipated, they're not slaves, but they're not technically free. Because if you were a freed black person and you wanted to move to Ohio, you needed 2 people to vouch for you, and you needed to pay $500, which was a ton of money in the early 1800s. So this was the workaround and the way to get around it. And some people took advantage of that and brought their slaves from Virginia and other places to help establish their farms in Ohio. But people like Benjamin Smith, his owner, everything that's been written about him said he left Virginia because he didn't agree with the institution of slavery. And this was his way of getting his people here and free them. Every slave that he had so far that we found in the records were bequeathed to him. His name never shows up on the slave trade. He doesn't buy or sell. So it seems like there's some truth to that, but we'll never fully know.
So this is somebody that you've run across and you're looking at history, and the historian that you are, you ran across his name, thought that would be something that would be worthwhile telling that story here, and it's kind of snowballed from there, and a big money project is ongoing.
Yeah, so it started from literally one sentence of Scipio Smith, 6'4", one-legged black man in pre-Civil War Lancaster, Ohio. That's all I knew when I first got started. But that was enough to go, I got to look into this.
Sure.
And now we are 40% of the way done of funding a statue to have a statue of Scipio Smith in downtown Lancaster.
Now, is it
96,000.
96,000, and so we're close to 40,000, 30,000?
Yeah, we're just under 40,000 right now.
So the end result will be this life-size statue of him.
Yes.
And it will be just down the street from us where the Glass Museum is because
that is where his tinsmith shop would have been located.
He had a tinsmith shop.
He had a tinsmith shop. And in fact, he was the first black person in Lancaster to engage a business. So he's our first black businessman in Lancaster, and that was 1827 is when he opened up that tinsmith shop. So that's it, his statue will go there. Thanks to Park National Bank, they've given us this little green space that they own, so that they're letting us have that to put the statue there. It should be right next to where his shop would have been, so it's fitting.
And this is kind of tied in with Allen Chapel just up the hill and around the corner. There's
Absolutely.
Is it Smith Boulevard or Smith Street?
There's Scipio Smith Street. Is now the secondary name for Walnut Street up there, and that is because 2 years before he opened up the tinsmith shop, in 1825, he opened up the AME Chapel. He founded that chapel. He was the first preacher, and he had a school put inside, because at this time, black and white residents could not attend the same church or school. So this solved that issue, major problem in Lancaster. And with that one building, he's able to solve that issue.
And they've just had a resurgence up there. So many beautiful things have happened. The way that's been renovated, and it's fabulous looking now.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, and they've got a new historical sign that we were a part of last year. Scipio Smith Street is obviously named, and now we're bringing that history down here to downtown because the Black history of Lancaster is more than just that section. They were down here as well. So it's important to point that out.
Michael Johnson, who's Marketing Director for Fairfield Heritage Association. And of course, kind of the crux of all this, beginning all this, at least as far as I can remember back, was really the Georgian. When that group of ladies got together and they decided to save that sort of began this resurgence, which is really the Heritage Association now. And so much has come from that. But even as big as the Georgian is, as many things is going on there, you've still got renovations going on inside that.
Absolutely, yeah. So the museums, both the Georgian and the Sherman House Museum, will open up in April for the season. And in the lower level of the Georgian, visitors will be able to see two new areas, and it's going to be the history of Fairfield County. So it's going to start out with a timeline starting back to glaciers and the Wyandotte and Chief Tarhee, and it's going to walk you through first settlers, the formation of Lancaster, of Fairfield County, the townships, the first people here, and right in through we have the Turner collection now, which people may be familiar with, was at Ohio University, Lancaster, and they had it there for years. And so we now have it, which I think is a better fit for us, and we now have the space to display it. So it looks amazing, and a brand new display. It looks great, and it's just going to be a great county history to be able to walk in. And there's going to be interactive things. There'll be iPads. There'll be things for children to flip and see before and after pictures of what things used to look like. So there's a whole BIS section, which is big for a lot of people if you grew up here in Lancaster, to be familiar with that. So it's just going to be a lot that's going to be packed into these two rooms in the lower level of the Georgian, and we are really looking forward to opening
that up. Is there an opening date set for that or anything?
It will be when the museum's open, which will be Wednesday, April 10th.
Oh, yeah. So it's almost there now.
It's almost there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot going on there. I mean, that sounds like a great place that you'd be able to have classes of kids come up
Yeah,
and look
absolutely.
around. I mean, they'll just, to be a little kid and to be able to see all that is amazing.
Yeah, and we're really hoping that the kids return, the students return, the field trips return. Because we used to, I think if you say campfire to courthouse, everybody remembers.
Sure.
If you were raised in Lancaster, you all went through that program.
Sure.
And that tapered off, and as now it's a different era now. And standards have come in and different things, and schools don't have the time and budgets. So we've really designed this room with those standards in mind, that you can bring your kids here and knock off these standards of timelines and maps, different historical artifacts, that teachers will be able to say, we can take our kids through here and hit these standards and things that we're studying. So we're building this history room too with that in mind, with the students in mind of Lancaster and Fairfield County.
Well, you were a kid that obviously got into history early on in your life, understood it, junior high, maybe around it, I'm not sure when, but I think now when you think about kids now, if they can come to a place like that as opposed to just sitting in a classroom. I remember I had a class, Ohio history, I think that was at General Sherman, and it was just an Ohio history class, but it was strictly out of a book, and nothing wrong with that. Those were the standards then.
Sure.
But now, iPads, to see things, visualize it, that's where kids are today.
Yeah, we learn so much differently, and I think if you can combine audio, visual, experience, being able to walk up on something, to see something right in front of you, all of that, it always better than just a book or a worksheet. Yeah. And that's what a lot of history boils down to, is just books and worksheets. Because that's an easy way out. I was an educator, so I know what that's like. But these experiences are going to stick with kids and mean a lot more.
Sure. Be a great field trip too, to come over for one day and look around there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the kids are going to love it.
Yeah. One thing when I was looking at your website, and again, the Heritage Association has a wonderful website, intuitive, very interactive, tons of information on there. But one of them I keep running across, and I've seen it over the years. I've never attended any event with this, but they're the Civil War roundtables. And I know you just had one last month, about a month ago from now, middle of January, and that's something that's ongoing. But with your caring and interest in General Sherman, this is probably something that you feel very special about.
Oh, absolutely, because this again goes toward the education aspect. And so instead of just seeing items in a book or reading stories in a book, these are presentations about people who really are in love with the subject and a specific issue or person. So they're monthly programs that we have at the Sherman House, and it costs $5 to get in, and that money goes right back into the round table. We use that to help promote the round table or to get different speakers to come in. So it's monthly. It's a great event. We take a little break during the summer, but we've got a lot of stuff planned for this year. We even have a bean dinner planned that might take place. We're working out the details, but in the Sherman Gardens, an old-fashioned like bean dinner, how they would make it in a camp. So we got a lot of fun things coming up with that as well. That's always a fun time.
Sherman House doing well?
Absolutely. Yeah, Joe Hoke just got done with it. A good painter. So
good painter.
It looks fantastic right now. He normally takes every year, he'll do a room or two and freshen it up. And so he did the front two parlors in the Sherman House. It looks gorgeous.
Statue still in there, still looking strong?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Sherman always looks strong.
Michael Johnson, amazing work you're doing with this. And if people want to donate to the Scipio Smith Fund for this statue that'll be going on, only about 40% of it is raised. They still can use some money. How can they do that?
FairfieldCountyFoundation.org, and you can search for Scipio Smith Statue, or you can take it just to the foundation and drop off a payment. They're located at 162 East Main Street, I believe is the address at the top of the hill there. And just make any check out to Scipio Smith Statue, and they'll get it there.
Going to be amazing to see that. We're looking
I can't
forward
wait.
to it.
Yeah, and Alan Cottrell's doing the statue out of Zanesville, famous sculptor. Did Jesse Owens and Woody Hayes at Ohio State University. He's so excited about the statue because he's never created a statue with a wooden leg before.
It'll be interesting.
That's piqued his interest.
Well, very good. It's going to be a great thing. Scipio Smith, look that up on the Heritage Association website. You'll be able to find it. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.